Hi everyone, Rachel Stevens here. We are going through our category by category tutorial of the whole shebang. This video is going to demonstrate our Powerhouse Mixers right here. Now I have already run my cleanup skin with patch tool action several times just to get the obvious distracting stuff taken care of. So the skin's cleaned up and prepped and ready to go. So the first thing I'm going to do is I'm going to run my Perfect Prep Power Mixer. The way that I've written my actions, I start from the top and I work my way down. Now with the Powerhouse Mixers, you can see as things move through, it's going to, you might have saw them hit some things down here as it toggled through the actions. All the mixers are running selected actions from the entire bundle. So the ones that I think go together to perfectly prep an image for exposure, color, retouch, etc. So as we're going through, if these are not looking like yours, it just means that you don't have the updated version. We're happy to send that to you free. If you've purchased the whole shebang already and you have an older version of it, we will update that for free for you. Just email us at rachelstevensphotography@gmail.com. Stevens does have a PH. Okay, so we'll see the before and after of what the action did. So you can see there. Now, the way that I've written, you can see as you go through, some of the masks are white. This means that it is showing, it's revealing what we've done on that layer. And you can check the opacity. I've gone ahead and adjusted the opacity already on some of them. Now the ones that are black, it's hiding what this layer does so that you can selectively target just the areas you want with a nice soft brush. The brushes are right here. You grab a brush tool between 20 and 50%, and then you can just brush in where you want. Now brighten, it's pretty bright already, so I probably wouldn't do that. But let's just show you guys. Hit some of the low lights in her hair. Maybe kind of darken in the shadows under her lips here. So you can see there's a lot of applications for the different actions. Because I've named them so simplistically, obviously a darkened brush is going to be an action that darkens things. So you can use that for anything that you want to darken. If you want to vignette an image, if you want to touch up the makeup, if you want to, go in and hit the shadows and define a little bit more. These are all things that can be done here with this. Or you can go through the different actions and really fine tune. Which, if I didn't feel that there was a lot of value in fine tuning images in Photoshop, then the only thing I would have written for myself are Powerhouse styled actions. That's just not the way it works with retouching. You got to be able to get in there and do it. Okay, so let's go into highlighter here and just kind of. All right, so the different, here we have recover midtones. Let me see if I can bring this out just a little more. There we go, so we can read it here. So the Perfect Prep Power Mixer, we've got recover midtones. It does exactly that. It recovers the midtones. We've got perfect color. Now with perfect color, I don't intend quote unquote perfect to mean you push the button and it's going to render perfect color on any image, no matter exposure, no matter no matter anything. That's just impossible. So the reason that I named it perfect color is because you can go in and fine tune it yourself for the perfect color using these base settings. So under your properties, or you can double click this, it'll take you to your properties. You can see on the RGB layer, which is the master layer, means red, green, blue, that I have it set here. These are the settings. So if you want, you can make a, your classic S curve. You've got your highlights here, you've got your shadows here, and you got your midtones here. So if you drag down to the right, it's making things darker. If you drag up to the left, you're making things brighter. So you could just mess around and see what you like for that particular image. So I'm gonna bring more contrast in here. Now you can go in to each channel and adjust the color. This is why we call it perfect color. So I've already got base points set for you, but you can just go in and grab one of the points that I've already set and then just kind of tweak it. For this image, I'm kind of really liking it a little more green, kind of pull some of the red down. So I'm going to do that. I'm going to go to my green channel. Even if I'm liking the image, I always go in and just kind of play with it a little bit, because you never know. You're looking at something, it might look totally awesome, and then you do one tiny little tweak and you're like, oh my God, that's like 100 times better. So always just kind of go in and play around with it and see what you like. That's why I have named this perfect color. You can see the before and after there. And I can go in and play with the opacity as well. And that's why Photoshop's so great, because it just gives you so many options of awesome. So this is the auto tone is just an auto feature. It's just using Photoshop's own algorithms to determine what it thinks would be the perfect toning, automated toning for that image. Sometimes it's awesome. Sometimes it just sucks. Just play around. Neutralize color does exactly what it says. It's going to neutralize that color. Clarity punch is basically a sharpen, so you can see before and after. Now you may not want everything sharpened. If you Control I on your keyboard, that will swap the mask. Make it, if it's black, it'll make it white. And vice versa. So I like to only keep the lashes and the eye. I don't like the whites of the eyes to be sharpened. That's just a personal thing. So I'm just going to go in and just go over where I want it. And if you can hear, I'm actually using my mouse today because I lost my tablet pen. But you can see all my tablet tools are up here. If you don't have a tablet, I highly recommend it. Get one from Wacom. I have a few. The one I use the most, I think I spent like $60 on it at Best Buy. Okay, perfect. Now I might even just use the brighten brush here just to kind of pop the catch lights in the eye. And then you have the darken brush, and then you have the highlighter. And the highlighter does exactly what it says. It's just overall highlight, brings the highlights out in the image. So let's look and see before and after. You can see that's a dramatic difference, even though we made all those little subtle changes. It's an awesome before and after there. So we're going to save that. Now we're going to go to exposure and color mixer. Now we've already hit some of the color and exposure adjustments in the Perfect Prep Power Mixer. That's why if you see here all these shortcut keys that I've assigned, this should be in your set as well when you load them. This is my personal recipe. I work from top down through my action bundle. So this is the first thing I do after I clean up with the patch tool, after I make a base foundation for my image and I'm ready to start my actions. I always start with this Perfect Prep Power Mixer, and then I work my way down, and this is my personal recipe. You can go ahead if you want to do your own, you double click it, you can assign your own function keys. Also, if this action bundle is too long, you can always delete stuff. You can delete stuff that you don't like or you don't want. Just select it, hit the trash can down here, hold it up here, come to here, do save actions, save it as my RSP or whatever you want to call it, wherever you have your actions living, and then you can have your own customized RSP actions bundle without all the bulk if all the options are overwhelming to you and you don't use them. Okay, so here's the exposure and color mixer. And let's go through and see what we have here. We've got Quick Skin Tone Fix, which is obvious it's addressing skin tone. We've got Color Fix, and I have this set almost like cross processing, just because I really enjoy that kind of that nice punch, cool punch. And here we have our boost color actions. Now, a lot of the actions, when I write them and they render, sometimes people are like, oh, it didn't do anything. Well, you have to check. Does it have a black mask? Black mask means that what this what this layer is doing is hidden until you brush over it. Look here at the opacity. Are we at 0%? So that's because you don't want all of these to be affecting. Maybe you do on an image, maybe you don't. So we keep it down at 0 to start, and then you can see if you want to add stuff. Now, with the color boosting ones, you really don't want to go more than 15%. You'll see it starts getting nuts. I mean, that might be a cool effect if that's what you're looking for. Or let's say, for example, you really want to make her lips really, really red. You can do that. Like I said, these actions have multiple uses. Once you start getting used to using them, then you can see where you can apply an action for a variety of different uses other than what it says it's meant for. So for example, what I mean by that is boost red is under exposure and color correction, but oh hey, look, I can use that for her lipstick. So some people may not put that together in their head that they could do that. Super quick option right there. Okay, I'm totally loving what it's doing too. About there. Turn it off and come back. So when you start getting down under 15%, it kind of gets hard down in here to fine tune. So I'll just grab my fill layer and I'll start playing around down there just because I like to work really fast. And then you can just, toggle through and see if you like what you like. You may like how the yellow's affecting her hair, and that's it. So you just Control I, grab your brush, and then paint over. I personally don't like that, but it's just showing you. All right. And you just go through and see. You may like what this is doing in her eye and on the sheets. So I encourage you to play, have fun, let yourself be awesome. Photoshop is a super cool program. There's so much you can do in it. You're constantly learning. It's a great program. So don't limit yourself. Perfect Base. That's just kind of filling in some of the midtones. Kind of a little creamier than the Recover midtones does. And then we've again got the darken brush, brighten brush, and then shadow highlights, which I like to pop when I'm doing my exposure and color correction. All right, so let's have a look at before and after. Totally loving that. Let's go up to about right there. And now we're going to have a look at our Retouch mixer. So I'm going to push play. So here we've got another message from me that pops up. So it says clean the skin using clone stamp tool. And the S that's in parentheses, that indicates the shortcut key on your keyboard. If you hit S, then it should select that tool. So S is your cloned stamp. If you want to know what the tools are, go here. You can click on it. If you hold it down, hold the cursor down on it, it'll show you the tools underneath though, and show you the shortcut letter. So you may also use the healing brush on either of these layers. Do not use the spot healing brush. You'll get big ugly orange streaks. You can use your brush tool to sample for color matching on the color layer only. So adjust opacity of the top group. Skin Clean here, that's the top group folder. Do not adjust the opacity of the color or texture layers themselves. So once you're done, you then hit play. So what this skin clean does, and we'll get into this a little bit more when I get down into the retouching video, but what skin clean does is it allows you to clean skin. It breaks up color and texture. So here we can do color manipulations without losing all our awesome texture in her skin. And then if we want to get some texture, then we're not going to be losing the color. So you know, if you have a duplicate a layer and you start clone stamping, things can just start looking like a big sloppy mess pretty quickly. This keeps everything really uniform and beautiful. So you're going to want your clone stamp tool. Your mode is normal. Your opacity, I'm going to keep mine at 50% so we can see what we're doing, and my flow at about 65. You want current layer, and then your Alt key samples. It makes that little target. I sample a lot. You want to sample a lot. That's how you keep things looking natural. Now if you start getting, if you feel like you need to run this, let me just show you. So I'm happy with that, but I don't want it to get too crazy. So I want to, normally when I'm working an image, I don't use just one skin clean action. I'll work, like here I'm working under the eye and right around this little tiny T-zone. Now I'm going to grab the top layer of the group and I'm going to mess with the opacity. See that? So we still have all that awesome texture preserved, but we've evened out the color imperfections. So I'll go about there, blend it, flatten it, and then I'm going to run that action again. Now I've got my skin clean set at F6. It should be on yours as well. If you're on a Mac, you hit the FN function key and then F6, and that'll do it. And I'll work different areas of the image, and then flatten, you know, do the opacity, flatten, all that, just to keep everything looking copacetic. You want things to look natural, but of course you also are a professional. When we're charging a fee for our service, we owe it to our clients to do the absolute best job that we can of presenting them with a polished them, not changing them, but giving them a polished them. Now for the sake of demo, I am going a little bit beyond what I would normally do for the demonstration, the sake of demonstration. You want subtle changes. Just always remember that. Keep it in your head. Subtle changes make a big difference. And then you can even raise it up. I've got 80% here on the texture layer. You can retouch hair, stray hairs. It's great for that. So what's texture and what's color is completely and totally up to you to figure out. It's different on every image. Sometimes I'll think, you know, I thought, you know, it would handle all of that just in texture. No, I got to come in with color too. Sometimes it's both. Okay. So here I want to keep that hair. So I'm just going to make a mask and blend right in here. All right. Let's see here. There we go. Perfect. Okay. So now what I'm going to do is I'm going to go back up to my Retouch Mixer action. And remember, we stopped, right? So we had this. So now we're done cleaning. So now we're going to hit play again. And the action is going to, the Powerhouse Mixer is going to continue on throughout the steps. And each step you're going to get your little message. So brush over skin using a medium soft white brush set to 30 to 60%. Be careful around the edges and details. That means like the edges here, details, eyelashes, edge of the lips, edge of the nose, etc. Close. Adjust smart filters and opacity to taste, then press play. Smart filters. What this is it duplicates the layer. Then any of our filters here that I apply to this action are listed under here. So let's go ahead and let's just do 90% here of soft white brush. Let's paint over her skin. If you're feeling like the skin's good and you're done, then you can just, you run it, flatten it. Just keep running the action. You don't have to actually do anything. Just keep running it. Just want to show you guys what this does. You don't want to kill all the texture. Going. Okay. So you can see how it smoothed it, but it might have made it too smooth. So let's go to add noise. You double click that. Now it's going to render that for us. It's going to pop it open. It's going to give you this guy. And let's go like 5. Let's maybe do 6. There we go. So now you can see it put some grain in there to give us some texture back in the skin. So there's 0, there's 100. You look right in here, you can really tell. And if you want there to be more smoothing, you click the surface blur. Or if you want there to be less, then you could play around with these smart filters. Okay, so I'm done with that. Now I'm going to go hit play. It's going to continue on in the action for me. Now, what does it want me to do? Now it's telling me eyes. Using a white brush set to 20 to 40%, paint over each area indicated on each layer under extravaganza. And you can laugh, it's okay. I'm horrible at naming actions, which is why they're like so simple. Then teeth. Select black mask on pearly whites layer and using a white brush set to 10 to 30%, paint over teeth if visible. You may also hit the whites of the eyes if they need more brightening. Then press play. So we are going to come up here and do the whites of the eyes. It wants us to do the whites. Just the whites. Pop the highlights. Darken the edges and lashes. Now, mind you, because I'm talking and explaining stuff, this is taking a little longer. Normally, this would be really, really fast. I can get through an image in no more than 10 minutes from start to finish using my actions. And I'll be demoing some of that in a few weeks for you guys. All right, so here's extravaganza. Let's have a look at the eyes, what they're doing. They look totally awesome. Let's go about right there. Let's look at pearly whites at the teeth. That's awesome. Oops. And we're going to hit play. We're done. Okay, now it's telling me paint over areas of skin that need a little extra love with a medium soft white brush set to 30 or 60%. Be careful around edges and details. Adjust smart filters and layer opacity to taste. Then press play. Okay, so what we're going to do here is we're going to press play again in the actions palette. Okay. Let's go back. I didn't mean to do that. There we go. So on this one, I obviously wouldn't use anything, but let's go here just to demo it. So you can see there, It does like skin spot smoothing, just like it says. Oops. And let's go up here and make sure, where are we here? There we go. Now we're going to use the soft white brush set to 30 to 60% for flyaways. And then this will be the end of the Retouch mixer. This is the last step. So let's just kind of play right in here. And also you can kind of get in there and smooth some of the sheets. And then we've got a skin texturizer. You can go over the skin with a soft white brush to give you some texture in the skin, just in case it got lost along the way. Adjust your opacity to taste. Nice. And you're done. So here we have, we're done with the Retouch mixer. Now we're going to do the finishing mixer. I'm going to play this guy. It's going to go, 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 go. Okay, so the finishing mixer, let's have a look. Drop down. We've got Urban Burn, Urban Glow. Now these are on obviously black mask, so we can't see what's going on there. We've got Give Me Depth. Let's see what that's doing. Loving that. We've got So Dreamy. There's a note here. What does that say? Let's have a look. It says paint over face. Okay, well, let's paint over the face then. Let's grab a brush. Let's put about 40%. Oops, black brush. Hello. Okay, cool. Let's play with the opacity here. Let's go about to there. Paint over face. Let's paint over there. Nice. Sharpening. Ooh, that made a big difference. Brought back some of the texture in the skin too, which I like. Just in the highlighted parts of the skin, which I love. And let's open up one of our smart filters here and just play around a little bit. That's nice. And I may just want to brush away a little bit in the hair. It's because I do want to get inside the face just because I want to keep that softness. And just make sure that there's nothing inside the eyes, on the whites of the eyes that got sharpened, because I like those to stay soft. The very edges here. Just kind of go in, kind of tweak back and forth between sharpen and not sharpened. Okay, perfect. Okay, so finishing, no, okay, Urban Burn and Urban Glow. So burn and glow, that's what they do. And I call it urban because typically I do this, this is the technique that I use when I'm shooting people outside, or if they have like really edgy clothes. But what I absolutely love when I can get, you know, like out in an alley or something totally sweet like that. Gonna play around here a little bit, maybe hit in the catch lights and the burn. I'm gonna grab into the all right, finishing mixer. Here we go. That's awesome. All right, flatten and save. Now we have our black and white Powerhouse mixer, which I love. So I love, love, love this. Okay, so I'm going to run it. And depending on how fast or slow your machine is, these may take a while to run. Just let it. Don't start clicking things. Go to a different program and play around. So with black and white conversions, a lot of times what will happen is the skin smoothing that you did will kind of go into the toilet. So one thing that I've found helpful is just throwing on a quick smoothing action. So you can see here, I named it adjustable filters, and if you turn them off, you can see they're really subtle. You can barely even notice it. But they make a big difference. So you want to make sure that for your particular image, like I'm looking in here, I'm noticing where it's leveled that for me. You can click your filters and adjust it to taste. So again, a lot of these will be set to 0 opacity. You can go ahead and see what you like. I usually always love a haze. I mean, a matte. I love matte finishes. The silver emulsion is my absolute favorite. There we go. You can see before and after. You can make it punchier. There we go. And then you have some other tints, which are fun if you want to play around with it. Let's do that. And you have your brighten brush and your darken brush, and you can play around in contour if you want. If you feel like maybe it's lost some of its depth. It's like dodging and burning on the black and white. Okay, so there's before and there's after. I hope you enjoyed this tutorial. This was our whole shebang Photoshop action bundle. This was our Powerhouse Mixers tutorial. Again, facebook.com/Rachel Stevens Photography for Women. Check out your README folder, your README file inside your whole shebang folder. It's got links to our different products. I've got a boudoir pose book. It's a #1 bestseller on Kindle. It's only $5.99. I've got my Creative Live course. Links out to that. Links out to our other training tutorials on YouTube, which were all free. And I will see you in exposure and color correction. Thanks.